Welcome back to another edition of the Met Report. I'm Xavier Gauthier.
And I'm Laryss Rodrigues. Let's get started.
Student government is holding elections next week, following the citywide elections that happened on Tuesday here in Denver and in several other areas of the country. On Monday the 10th, voting will begin for numerous positions in student government, particularly on the Student Advocacy Council, or TSAC. Of the 6 major candidates running for that council, 3, Paul Nelson, Reed Varco, and Mike Warner, are incumbents, while Athena Landy, Kristen Neergaard, and Matthew Rathbun hope to take office for the first time. Voting will be available online at Roadrunner link under the Student Organizations tab on the Student Hub, though you may have to search a bit to find it. The election will end on April 14th, after which votes will be tabulated and results will be released.
If you've been in the Tivoli over the past week, it's hard to miss the array of t-shirts hanging in the main plaza, but the message behind them is a poignant reminder of violence in our society. Started in 1990, the Clothesline Project is a visual art exhibition that aims to give a voice to victims of sexual violence through decorated t-shirts. The project serves as an educational tool for those who view the display to help people understand that sexual violence is a prevalent issue and that survivors will not be silenced. Each colored t-shirt carries a different meaning, representing different forms of sexual violence and discrimination, which people can then decorate with messages about their experiences. If you or someone you know is dealing with issues of interpersonal violence, a 24/7 helpline is available at 303-556-2255.
The Health Center at Aguirre has introduced a group wellness coaching gathering called Coffee Expressions, where students and other community members can come together and develop a better sense of self. Coffee Expressions is an hour-long gathering each and every Tuesday during the month of April where members can talk about different topics of self-value and self-wellness. Attendants can grab a cup of coffee along with a selection of bagels and come together to discuss this week's topic. The first meeting has already taken place, but more gatherings are to come on April 11th, 18th, and 25th from 10 to 11 a.m. Different topics include a personal understanding of wellness, how to develop radical self-compassion, what it means to live with self-values, and how to cultivate healthy relationships.
Coffee Expressions is a safe and inclusive environment for beautiful people like yourself to simply just express what truly matters to you. There's really no right or wrong answers to any of these topics and discussions. It's just really important to show up as you are and authentically speak to how you feel and how that relates to you. And all thoughts and feelings are welcome.
Looking for a place to celebrate Easter this weekend? The Hope Valley Church will be hosting an Easter service in the Tivoli Turn Hall on Sunday, April 9th at 10 a.m. for those who observe the Christian holiday. To RSVP and get more information on the event, scan the QR code here on the screen.
Coming up next,
former President Donald Trump is charged with a crime.
a jazz club moves locations,
And the MLB enters a new season with new rules.
all this and more after the break.
Dad?
Being a dad can be transformative, but also a lot of fun. Help prepare your little monster for the outside world. Encourage their interests. Support their growth. Walk them through new relationships.
He's perfect.
Whatever you say.
And prepare them to stand on their own 2 feet.
So much of the good in my life is because of you.
Never stop being a dad.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
It's definitely taken a toll on all of us.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of the hospital.
Even if you got COVID before,
it's important that you go get your COVID booster.
COVID shots are safe.
Much safer than getting the virus.
We can all do our part.
And get back to living. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for more information.
Over $2.5 billion in tax refunds is making its way towards the people of Colorado, so long as the economy remains stable. The tax refund will be dispersed and was expected to be April of 2024, with the payment being in the form of checks tied to people's income, with higher incomes receiving a larger refund. So long as the economy does not tank and Colorado maintains its current levels of inflation, people can expect to see those checks.
On Tuesday, April 4th, former President Donald Trump flew to New York for his arraignment at the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse, making the first time a former U.S. president has been formally charged with a crime. Crowds gathered outside the courthouse as Trump arrived for his first hearing in the trial, pleading not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsely business records during the 2016 presidential run in the hopes to conceal criminal conduct from the voting public. Each felony charge carries a sentence of 4 years, which means if convicted on all charges, the president would be facing a 134-year prison sentence. The next in-person hearing for the president will be December 4th, 2023, and with the Republican primaries looming. It remains to be seen how this indictment will affect Trump as he looks to take back the White House.
Humans last went to the moon in 1972, and the world has changed dramatically in the 51 years since. But our drive to explore beyond the Earth has not, as NASA announced a crew for the Artemis II mission earlier this week. NASA revealed Monday that Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen will be the crew of the Artemis II mission scheduled to launch in November of 2024. The mission looks to fly by the moon and possibly a little bit beyond, testing NASA's Orion spacecraft and evaluating the requirements for a lunar outpost in deep space travel. The mission will feature the first time that a woman, person of color, and non-American will leave Earth's low orbit as well as reach the moon. NASA hopes to land on the moon with Artemis III in the middle of the decade.
This past weekend, our reporter Fabrizio Escalona had the chance to visit an event made by Global Village Academy, celebrating the culture behind languages. Here's more on it.
On Saturday afternoon, Global Village Academy, located in Alameda and Airport Boulevard, organized a language fair to teach parents and guardians how students can learn different cultures and language through some food and dances performance.
I organized this performance because I want to show to the people our culture and our gastronomy and our dance.
El alma llanera expresses in a sublime way the respect and admiration for the country. That's exactly Venezuelans and love for our land.
We're here with several different food truck vendors and some of our student organizations to represent GVA. We're an immersion language school where our students either can learn in our Spanish village, our Mandarin village, or our French village. And this is kind of a celebration of our multicultural classrooms and our multicultural school. And it's a good experience to get our community out and involved with our school as well.
Another mass shooting occurred in Nashville, Tennessee, at a private Christian school on March 27th. 3 children and 3 adults were killed after shooter Aubrey Hale walked into the school armed with an AR-15 and 2 pistols. Authorities believe Hale had been planning the attack for months. Hale released 152 bullets before getting shot down by authorities, leaving behind a manifesto. Surveillance footage from inside of the school showed Hale shooting into the school's locked side doors and crawling in through the shattered glass. 9-year-olds Evelyn Dykehouse, Hallie Scruggs, and William Kinney were killed in the assault, as well as school janitor Mike Hill, substitute teacher Cynthia Peak, and headmistress Catherine Kuntz, who reportedly ran to the shooter to try and protect the school. The motive of this shooting is still being investigated. The U.S. has now had 125 mass shootings so far in 2023 and 38 in the month of March.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that that is its own unique space too.
Okay, here we go.
3, 2.
3, 2, 1.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
So when we start talking about COVID, I completely get it. It's frustrating.
We've all been impacted one way or another.
The fight against COVID is also changing really quickly.
And it's sometimes really hard to keep up.
So here are a few things we know.
We are not fighting the same virus from 2020.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of the hospital.
Even if you got COVID before,
It's important that you go get your COVID booster.
COVID vaccines are safe,
Much safer than getting COVID-19.
We all want this to end sooner than later.
so go ahead and do things.
Go out and live your life, but get vaccinated. Stay boosted.
We can all do our part.
And get back to living. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for more information.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that that is its own unique space too.
Okay, here we go.
3, 2.
3, 2, 1.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
So when we start talking about COVID, I completely get it. It's frustrating.
We've all been impacted one way or another.
The fight against COVID is also changing really quickly.
And it's sometimes really hard to keep.
How's it going, folks? Welcome back to Emet. I'm Brenden Gilliss, here to update you on everything from the wide world of entertainment. Now, I have a question for you guys. What is all the commotion happening in front of St. Cajetan's? Why are there so many clothes? Wait, they have shoes and accessories too? What in the heck? Our reporter Anissa Madreza made her way over there to figure out just what's going on.
Shoes, clothes, and accessories, oh my. This market, also referred to as a thrift pop-up, is the one-stop shop for your shopping addiction. Held every other Tuesday in front of St. Cajetan's is a strip of all things fashion, from mom-and-pop hand-me-downs to supreme hype-beast merch. It truly has everything to style your needs. Vendors from across Colorado come together at various universities to sell their findings to students. Many of these vendors are also fellow college students who have small hustles on the side. So many are pushing for more attention towards their small businesses.
It's fun to network, bring people together, all share passion, make a little money, so it's a good time. Yeah, it's learning about history, and you support small business as well, so it's something that everyone should do, I think.
Don't worry if clothes aren't your thing, because they are now opening their market for anyone interested in many types of pieces of art. Keep your eyes out for the next pop-up and support some small businesses. To stay in the loop, follow Instagram pages at 303 Thrifty and at Thrifty University Pop-Up.
Dazzle, one of Denver's premier jazz clubs, has moved its location to the Performing Arts Complex just across the street from campus. For more than a quarter of a century, Dazzle has served music lovers, first at 930 Lincoln Street, then on 1512 Curtis Street since 2017, starting its association with the DCPA. But now, a series of renovations and overhauls spurred by the COVID-19 pandemic has led to its new home at 1080 14th Street, a move sponsored by the city's Arts and Venues Agency. though the club itself is not owned by the city. Over its history, Dalzell hosted many jazz legends, including the late MSU Denver professor and performer Ron Miles. How much trouble would you get into for just $1? Gwyneth Paltrow was taken to court and sued for $300,000 for an alleged ski crash. Terry Sanderson claimed that her reckless skiing caused him brain damage and is affecting his relationships. The jury later agreed that the crash was Sanderson's fault, as Gwyneth claimed that he was the one who crashed into her. His daughter also took to the stands to say that his brain damage isn't the reason why his relationships were strained. Yikes. After the trial sided in Paltrow's favor, the jury awarded her $1, a single dollar, to symbolically show that the trial wasn't about the money. Now, clearly, infidelities among celebrities have been a popular topic recently. Singer Becky G and her soccer player boyfriend, Sebastian Leggett, have been linked to cheating rumors. The soccer player shared a message on Instagram where he regretted having damaged his fiance's trust in him. And although it was an emotional message, he didn't reveal if the rumors were true. His messages come after a woman shared on Instagram that she has evidence that Leggett cheated on Becky G with her. So far, Becky G hasn't said anything, although she has been seen without her engagement ring in the last week. Well, that's it for Emet this week. Stay tuned, though, because up next is the one and only Brandi with sports.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
All right, let's try this.
COVID has been a really long fight, and it's been especially tough on kids.
It's been a rough transition for all of us.
Right now, as a father, I want to give the best tools to protect my kids.
So what can we do to get back to that sense of normalcy?
Every day, parents ask me if their child 5 and above should get vaccinated.
The answer is absolutely yes.
My own sons, who are 6 and 8 years old, had their COVID vaccine.
It's an added layer of protection to keep kids from getting any type of severe illness or complications from a COVID infection.
A lot of parents are also wondering if the vaccines are safe.
Yes, it's safe and effective for children.
Definitely safer than a COVID infection.
Children get a smaller dosage than adults do.
So if you have questions or concerns about the vaccine, that's okay.
We're here to help.
We have the tools we need to protect kids and help them stay healthy and all get through this together.
Hello everyone, I'm Brandi Thomas and welcome back to Met Report Sports. Let's dive right into the latest news in the world of athletics. America's pastime is back and the game looks a little different than in seasons past. The 2020 3 MLB season had its first pitch on Thursday, with the new rules making their Major League debut in hopes to speed up and create a more entertaining game. After the first week implementation, the rules have generated mixed opinions. Steals have drastically increased due to larger bases, and banning the shift looks to add more hits and highlights. The pitch clock is a bit more controversial, as disgruntled pitchers are adjusting to being forced to throw the ball in a limited time. The MLB has received its desired effect, however, as game times are down an average of 30 minutes. Speaking of baseball, the Rockies are back in the Mile High City for the 2023 MLB season. Opening day for the Rockies may have been last week, but the home opener took place yesterday at Coors Field. All 48,820 fans were treated to a 1-0 Rockies win against the Washington Nationals, with right fielder Chris Bryant driving in shortstop Ezekiel Tovar for the lone run. Starting pitcher Kyle Freeland pitched 6 2/3 scoreless innings. He would be relieved by Justin Lawrence, who would go an inning and third before giving way to closing pitcher Pierce Johnson, who would get the save. Fans can catch the Rockies in the opening homestand through next Wednesday. They will finish their series against the Nationals before starting one against the St. Louis Cardinals on Monday. On Saturday night, the Colorado Rapids took on the reigning MLS champions LAFC. Fabrizio and Noe have more on the game.
The Colorado Rapids are struggling as they're last place in their division, and today they have a hard test against LAFC. With best player Carlos Vela on the lineup, it's going to be very hard for them, but chances are there. I'm here with a Colorado Rapids fan. Thank you so much for their time.
Sure.
So I have a question for you. Who do you think wins today? Because I know it's a very tough game between the Rapids and the reigning defending champions LAFC.
Well, you know, I am a Rapids fan, but I'm also realistic, so I think LA probably wins. So I'm saying 2-0 LA, but, you know.
You got to represent.
Got to represent, yeah.
So who do you think the threat today is from LAFC? Because the main one is Carlos Vela.
Yeah,
of course,
I mean, it's always Carlos Vela for sure. I mean, you gotta take care of him first and foremost. That's who I think is their biggest weapon. So,
is there anyone else that you see, like, who wins MVP today?
I'm just gonna say Carlos Vela.
All right.
Both teams shared a point Saturday night at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Although it was a 0-0 draw, both teams had many chances to score but failed. Colorado goalkeeper William Jarford stopped 2 amazing shots, one of them being from Carlos Vela. Also, LAFC goalkeeper John McCarthy made 4 saves for his 3rd shutout of the season. Now the Colorado Rapids have yet to win a game and are 0-3-3 with 3 points, making them last place in their division.
Well, Fabrizio, wasn't the game we were expecting. What do you think?
Well, I think it was good because the Rapid wasn't lost. I mean, I said before 2-0 for the LA, but it was good. It was 0-0, but the worst part of the game, no goals. I want to see one.
Vela was nowhere to be seen. We didn't see Vela throughout the whole game, so I don't know what happened, but it was a good game for the Rapids. They got 1 point, which is better than nothing. Well, guys, that's it. Hope you guys. Thank you and have a good one.
17 of the last 18 years, we've seen the biggest high school football games played at the Broncos Stadium. But recently, it was announced that the 5A and 4A championships will have a new home. CHSAA Commissioner Michael Kruger came out in December during the 2022 state championship games, saying that he felt good and hopeful that they could keep the games in Denver. But things have changed in the last 5 months, and a new agreement was made this past Tuesday. For the first time in 18 years, the games will leave Denver and head up north to Fort Collins on the campus of the Colorado State Rams. CSU has never hosted the CHSAA football championship games, but now Canvas Stadium will play host to high school football's biggest day, with future plans of adding the 3A championship to the game day schedule in the 2024 season. We hope to see you in Fort Collins later this year when the Met Report sports crew heads up north to cover the 2023 CHSAA High School Football Championships. Well, March Madness has ended for both men's and women's teams, and this year was full of heartbreak, triumph, and plenty of surprises. Our reporter Alex Petrich has a story.
The story heading into the women's Final Four was Caitlin Clark's Iowa team, who continued a stunning hot streak against the South Carolina Gamecocks, with Clark scoring 41 points to send the Hawkeyes to the championship. Their opponent would be Angel Reese's LSU Tigers, who knocked off Virginia Tech to set up one of the most anticipated showdowns in college sports. In the championship game, things fell apart for the Hawkeyes as LSU's scoring proved too hot to handle, leading to a 17-point blowout win for the Tigers, with Angel Reese being named the most outstanding player of the women's tournament. Controversy arose after Angel Reese was seen taunting Caitlin Clark towards the end of the game, leading some to call out the LSU forward for bad sportsmanship, even though Clark had performed the same taunt earlier in the tournament. On the men's side, we were treated to an unprecedented Final Four, with no one-seeds competing for the championship. Adama Sanogo and the Yukon Huskies destroyed the Miami Hurricanes 72-59 to punch their ticket to the final. And on the other side of the bracket, we got the game of the tournament, as San Diego State's Lamont Butler nailed a buzzer-beating jumper to end Florida Atlantic's Cinderella run, sending the Aztecs to their first championship in program history. But the men's final was also a 17-point blowout, as San Diego had no answer for the defense and rebounding of UConn. Adama Sanogo was named the most outstanding player of the men's tournament, leading the Huskies to their 5th NCAA title in school history.
Colorado State legend Becky Hammon was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2023 last weekend. Yet another impressive accomplishment for the 6-time All-Star. Hammon, a former All-American, Western Athletic Player of the Year, and Colorado Sportswoman of the Year, added another accolade to her resume to accompany her Colorado State Sports Hall of Fame induction, first-team selection, Olympic bronze medal, WNBA championship, and, of course, being the first female to be recognized as an assistant coach in the NBA. Hammon joins fellow legends such as Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, and Greg Popovich to be properly enshrined on August 11th and 12th at ceremonies in Connecticut and Massachusetts. Well, what a big week in sports. Thank you all for joining me. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brandi. And finals are coming up. Are you prepared for them?
Not at all. I have 3.
Only have 1, so hopefully it's easy enough.
Okay, you're lucky. Well, that's all we have for the Met Report this week.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at mymetmedia.com.
Have a great weekend, everyone.